Hey everybody, it's John and it is Dry Fire Monday, sponsored by the Mantis X10 Firearms Performance Training System. Really grateful to them for sponsoring the channel. Today I have a question for you, something I want you to work on both, and that is a two-handed draw and a one-handed draw. Which one is right? Which one should we do? Let's talk about it. The new Mantis X10 Firearms Performance System has all the goodness of the original, plus holster draw analysis and recoil analysis. It's a fantastic upgrade and I recommend it highly. So today I'm not really going to talk about performance metrics, but I'm going to talk a little bit more today about reasonings why you might want to do some things. There's some discussion in the defensive training community and among self-defenders about whether we should train to clear our cover garment with our support hand, or whether we should always work clearing it with our dominant hand and then going and getting the gun. I'm going to tip my hand and say I think you should be proficient with both and practice more with two-handed drawing than with one. Now, why would you want to practice with this way? It is demonstrably slower, I don't care what you do, to do it one-handed. But let's talk about the kinks first, then we'll talk about why we might do each one. So, the mechanics of both of them. If I'm going to draw with two hands, all right? A couple ways that I'm going to do that with two hands. So I can start hands up, I can start surrender posture. I don't like this surrender, I would much rather have a defensive fence. Hey man, I don't want any problems. I can start hands at side, although I have never seen a defensive gunfight start with somebody with their hands at their side. I've never seen in real life on the main channel anybody ever start their draw from this place. I've seen quite a bit of, hey man, I don't want any problems with the hand way out, or a lot with one hand out, and most people, they do that with their support hand because they're cheating their way closer to their gun. So you can start that any way you want. I also see this, again, if I'm running security at church or something like that, the fig leaf happens all the time. And when I do cheat by grabbing my ham. And you see me standing around like this all the time. I'll just hang out. If I'm just hanging out, this is a great way to hang out. It doesn't hurt anything. I know what I'm doing with my hands. And instead of sticking my hands in my pockets or whatever, my pockets got stuff in them anyways, then I'm going to hang out this way. But let's just say that we're not, and let's just talk about a universal two-handed draw stroke. So I'm going to use my support hand to clear and get rid of my cover garment. I bring that right here to my xiphoid process, where your rib cage comes together. This is where I want my hand to go. So whether I'm coming from down here, from up here, whether I have a hold of my hem or not, I say I'm coming from here. I like to grab my belly button if I don't already have that. We've talked about that on other videos. Bring that hand up to my xiphoid process. That exposes the gun. Gun hand goes down, grabs a hold of the gun, gun comes out, they come together here, go do all the pew that I need to do. Reset my trigger safely and carefully. Put the gun back in the holster. Okay, that is a two-handed draw stroke. If I have a one-handed draw stroke, well then obviously, I might do that because this hand is otherwise occupied for one reason or another. Okay, so I'm gonna do basically the same thing, but everything has to be one hand. So I'm gonna go grab my belly button, come to my xiphoid process, and then use my forearm to pin my cover garment while I drive down to the gun, get the gun up. Probably going to end up one-handed here, pew, 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 go do all the pew that I need to do. Now, in this particular one, what I have to do is use my thumb. If I'm going to have to put the gun away here, I'm going to use my strong side thumb, come way down, keep the gun pointed in front of me in a safe direction, clear my cover garment up, tap the outside, safely holster, so I'm not unsafely holstering the gun. That is the basics of how you're holstering and unholstering with one hand or with two hand. Now, you might think that I'm going to say I want you to do two-handed because it's faster. Yeah, I think it is faster. I think you probably cost yourself a 1/10 or a 1/1500th or something. If you really practice one-handed, you can get within about 1/1500ths. I don't think the speed is the primary thing. Actually, I think what the primary thing is, you have something else in your support hand. Now, in this case, like for instance, I've got a flashlight in my support hand. I see people all the time, they have their cell phone in their support hand, or they have other stuff in their hand. So right now, just because I don't want to drop anything that might break, I'm going to say I have this pen, right? And I'm doing something with it. Maybe I'm a police officer and I'm writing something up. Now, of course, they're using strong side, and outside the waistband, they don't have a cover garment to mess with. So, maybe I'm writing something down, or I'm talking to somebody, or I'm showing somebody something, or I have my cell phone. Hey, what's going on? What I see happen all the time is I see people, they go get the gun, and now they've never dropped what's in their hand. And so then they're trying to get this hand on the gun, a second hand, and it's very difficult. Or because they have something in this hand, they just drive the gun out there one-handed and go do their pew one-handed. Now, I've seen plenty of people win gunfights with one hand, but you and I both know if you do any kind of training at all, that two hands on the gun is best for recoil control. It's best for fast and accurate shooting. So you really want to get that stuff out of your hand. And if I have something else that's in this hand, either psychologically, I'm not going to put that hand on the gun, and this is just going to hang out here in space, and I see that on the main channel all the time. Or I'm going to try to put my second hand on the gun, and it's going to get fouled, and so I'm not going to get a good grip, and it's going to be all kinds of funky, and I'm going to have a hard time shooting well. So maybe I had some pepper spray or something, and I had to hose somebody down, and what the two-handed draw does is it makes me clear this hand. So if I know I got to grab a handful of shirt at my belly button, then under stress, I'm going to go, oh no, this hand has something in it that's not a child or something like that I wouldn't want to drop. So instead, I just go, oh no, drop it, get that out. Now this hand is free to fill full of my support hand firearms work. Whereas if I had something in there and I am not doing a two-handed draw, I'm doing a one-handed draw, I may not do. So that's actually why I prefer a two-handed draw. So we've done this a whole bunch on the channel, right? Really suggest you practice from likely positions. I like defensive fence, hands at side is fine. Fig leaf is really good for me as well. When I'm really trying to go fast, that's my preference. I'll really kind of take my time from here and go, all right, go and get the gun out and go do my work, do all that stuff. Okay, great, and that's why I want you to do it. But you might have a reason that you couldn't, man. I have a friend who broke a collarbone. If you break your support side collarbone, guess what? You're probably not going to be able to move that for a while. Maybe you've got a broken hand or something like that. I broke my strong side hand in jiu-jitsu a while ago, and thankfully it's fine now. But I had to carry right-handed, and for a couple weeks there, I couldn't even grab. Just doing this hurt so bad. I mean, this hand was basically out of the fight. So I had to not only work on support side only, I had to work on clearing the cover garment. You may be carrying a child, you may be a parent of young ones or a grandparent, something like that. You've got little kids. Or you may have the hand of an older child that is not a self-defender, or a spouse or something like that. Bad things go down and you want to keep them away, or you want to push your loved ones away so that hand is busy. Well, that being the case, again, same thing. You just got to clear, get the gun out and go. Now there's reasons to be able to do that quickly. And so practicing that, I think, is very important. So here's my task for you this week in your dry fire. I want you to just practice 20 reps of each one each day. So try it at least 3 days. Man, if you can get 3 days of dry fire practice in, you are in the top 1% of concealed carriers in the entire nation. So just try at least 20 draws. So you're gonna sit there and go, I don't even care if you put it on a clock right now, just getting that gun out. I'm not even gonna go fast, get it out. Yep, got all the gun that I needed to there. And do that 20 times. And then thinking again as well, okay, gotta get that on there. Good, gun came out and I got my dot, great. Okay, put it away safely. Now, I will say, you saw me there, that even though I got the gun out one-handed, good, got that out, got everything there, I did put the gun away two-handed, because I had that availability to do it. It's a little faster, a little safer to do it that way. That's your dry fire tip for this week, working out of the holster. Make sure that you understand why you might need a one-handed draw, why I prefer a two-handed draw. Practice both of them, and I think get comfortable dropping things out of your hand as well. Have a great week, everybody.